everyone, it's Kevin at Bear Creek Honey. It's Thursday, I don't know, April 25th, somewhere around there. We got a cool rainy morning. I'm actually on my way to the post office to see if my bees arrived. They left Wausau, which is probably 30 miles away, the distribution center, at 2:24 this morning, and it's only 30 miles away, so they should be here by now. I'm expecting 2 Saskatraz Queens, picked up from my friend Wayne. Thanks, Wayne, for picking those up for me and sending them off to me. I couldn't find any Saskatraz Queens here, around here, anywhere, and he had a supplier in St. Paul, Minnesota, and that had some come in, and so he picked a couple extra up for me, and we traded. Actually, I traded him my my oxalic acid vaporization wand for the 2 queens, and I think it was a fair trade. I can't use the wand with my German hive body setup, and I definitely can't use them for my nuke setups, so it just made sense. It was just sitting there. I had no use for it anymore, and Wayne is part of our video bee chat, our Upper Midwest video bee chat, and this is part of what that video bee chat can help with, is networking with other beekeepers around the region. So anyways, I'm actually on my way. You know, the tracking actually says it's not supposed to arrive to me until tomorrow, but it was shipped off on Tuesday. Like I said, it left Wausau at 2:24 this morning. It has to be at my post office. They have this thing about the live bees, and they don't really communicate well. My bees end up staying there at the post office. They obviously don't get delivered to my door. You have to pick it up, but I rarely ever get notification that they're just sitting there at the post office. So I'm kind of doing a preemptive strike to go and get them. But so anyways, I was planning today to pick them up and put them in my nuke, but right now it's 50 degrees and it's raining out, and it was supposed to get 66 and beautiful. So hopefully the weather changes, and I'll be able to get these Saskatraz Queens installed. Actually, I just got a message, and it looks like it might come from the post office, so actually that might be my notification that they're in, but I'm not going to check that while I'm driving here. One of the things that I wanted to do this morning, just have a little bee chat, morning bee chat, and just talk to you a little bit about maybe some news, big news actually coming up for me that I wanted to share with all of you. It affects my channel a bit, but you know, before I do that, I just wanted to talk about these Saskatraz Queens. I was supposed to get 2 packages of these back in April 15th or something, and it turns out that I'm not going to be able to get my packages until the 30th of April, which absolutely puts every bit of my queen rearing program 2 weeks behind, where I wanted to start grafting queens around the 15th of May. Now I will not have my first brood even hatching from my packages until at a minimum the 21st of May. And so my queen rearing program has really gotten thrown way behind. I'm hoping I still can do it, but that kind of goes into my bigger news that I want to share with you, and that is I'm changing jobs here. I'm closing down my business, and I applied for and I got a new job, and actually I'm going to be a commercial beekeeper. I'm going to go work for a company that has 2,000 hives, and they transfer the bees between Wisconsin and Florida. They winter them in Florida, and they bring them back in the spring. I start in a couple of weeks when they bring them back, or a week and a half or something like that when they bring the bees back. And I'm both excited about this new adventure that I'm going into, and I have a little bit of trepidation. My trepidation is that I'm 54 years old, just turned 54 just a week ago, and although I have the want to and the absolute drive to do this, fascination with bees, I am not sure if my body can keep up, and we will see. But I am always up for a challenge. It's just the physical nature of being a beekeeper in an operation that has 2,000 hives that has given me some pause, obviously. And you got to think about that. I'm not 25 years old anymore. But if you look around, there ain't many young beekeepers out there. Guys tend to go and sow their oats doing other jobs and then get into beekeeping a little bit later in life. But it's a very, 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 very physically demanding job. It's one thing to have, half a dozen hives that you got to pull a 90-pound deep off. It's another thing to have 2,000 hives where you do it 8 hours a day, every single day of the year. So that is my only trepidation for it. Otherwise, I am actually very, very kind of excited about it. Met my boss yesterday. He invited me out to lunch. Before that, we had only conversed on the phone. He's interested in me because I have a little bit of beekeeping experience, and that is rare for him to find. Labor is one thing. It's having somebody that knows what they're looking at is quite another. And so he was sizing me up to see, what I was about. Whether I was, he also wanted to size me up to see if I was had the physical traits to do the job, because he wasn't going to hire anybody that couldn't lift 45, over 45 pounds, or, was completely out of shape to do this job. But his first words out of his mouth, well, it looks like you're physically able to do this job well, So that was good news, I guess. But he says he hires guys all the time that last 2 days and they quit. And I can totally understand that. Like I said, it's a very, very physically demanding work. But another aspect is I'm going to be changing my life completely. I'm going to be spending time down in Florida. Obviously, a lot of the winter I'm going to be spending down in Florida. I don't know how my plans to raise winter bees is going to winter queens, I should say, stock that's able to winter up in my region, is going to progress if I'm down in Florida more. So that might change my outlook on it. He has told me that I will be able to ship my bees with his down to Florida, so I can winter them down there, and I will no longer need a winter hardy variety if I'm able to bring my bees down there. And I can have up to 100 of my own hives that I can send off, that I just pay the ship, obviously pay on the shipping, but I can piggyback his shipment to take them out to California in the early spring and pollinate, and I can make some money, extra money, doing that. But obviously the big caveat to that was his bees come first. Totally understand that. But again, I don't know if I'm going to have time for something like that when I'm already taking care of 1,600 hives. Now, obviously, he has crews, and his son is actually the ramrod of the operation, and so I'm going to be working for him. But I am actually really looking forward to it, and wondering if I had, because his son is younger, he's in his 20s, and he had trepidation whether I would be able at my age to take direction from a 20-year-old guy. And honestly, my answer is this: I don't care how old anybody is, if they have the knowledge to be the boss, what do that's all I care about. If they don't know what they're doing and they're telling me what to do, that's where I have had some trouble in my life. But if a guy knows that stuff and is just running a business, I don't care if he's 21 or 70. Doesn't really matter to me. I'll work for anybody as long as they know what they're doing, and I'll respect them for that in their career. But I'll actually be right back. I'm going to head into the post office and go get this, see if my bees are ready, and I'll be back in a second. So okay, I got my bees. Here they are. They were there. Thanks, Wayne. Appreciate that. Not sure if they're still alive or not. I suppose I'll find out when I get home. But that just goes to show you to double check when you pick up your bee, or when you're you get notifications about picking up your bees. I went in there, and right away I said, "You guys got some bees?" And you're like, "You're the bee guy?" And I'm like, "Yep." And I was like, "Yep, we got them over here." And I'm like, "Okay." And I says, "I didn't get a notification that they arrived here." And he's like, "Oh, okay. We thought we scanned them in." And I said, "It also shows that it's not supposed to be delivered till tomorrow." I said, "But I was watching the tracking." I said, "It left Wausau at 2:24 this morning. It never had an arrival here in Point. And I figured it would be delivered today." And she's like, "Nope, it's not supposed to be delivered to tomorrow." So this, if it was really hot out, these bees would have stayed in their warehouse overnight instead of coming today. So it's always good to, especially if your post office is close, to do a preemptive strike and go and see if your bees are in, because when it comes to, and it was funny, they had these things in a huge box, crate or whatever, all taped up, and they were so afraid of it, and they're like, "We thought maybe they were dead, because they don't sound like the normal bees." Well, it's just two queens, with a few attendants. They're not like they're buzzing around in there. So and it's just funny the way people react to the bees. But they had it all taped up in this great big crate. Scared of them to death. I just don't know what's what. And I said, he's like, "You can take the whole crate with you." I'm like, "I can't open it up and just take the box?" And they just looked at me, and she goes, "Well, he's a beekeeper, so he knows how to handle them. So you let him take the lunch." I just started laughing at that, But anyways, yeah. So it's pouring rain today, and I really want to hive these bees. I've got 2 4-frame nukes set up, a frame feeder, 2 frames of comb, and then a 1 foundationless comb. And that's the foundationless is in the middle, and that I'm going to actually zip tie the queen cage to that center bar, to the top bar, and let them go to that. But it's really difficult. We don't usually do splits around here in Wisconsin, especially central Wisconsin, until around the 1st of May. This is a little early to be doing splits, and I expected to have packages by now, and I could have stolen some bees from those packages. But you got to do what you got to do, and I got a really strong hive right now that I can steal from. However, right now it's actually combined with a weaker hive. I got 2 queens on it, if you've seen my videos, and I was going to leave that on for two weeks, And now I have to go to plan B and take that combined hive off early, and then I have to steal. I was just going to shake bees in each box, 2 4-frame nuke boxes, to get these queens started. But I think I might I'm going to do a quick inspection of the box, see what they got, and I might steal a frame of brood from each to give each of these a boost. I'll shake a frame of bees, I'll steal a frame of bees for each of these splits that I'm doing, and we'll see how it goes. Praying to God that it gets warmer today and I can house this. We're actually, funny thing, we're supposed to get snow on Saturday, and it just never ends here. It's nice, fruit trees budding, everything's budding, and then all of a sudden you get snow, and it really sets everything back. Right now it's raining, so bees can't get the pollen in, and so I still have pollen patties on my hives, so when it gets cooler and nastier, they can still keep going and not stop rearing brood in the spring. And that's really, open pollen is great and everything, but it doesn't work when the bees can't get out to it. So it's always good in the spring to have pollen patties on. It's a supplemental feed. They probably won't touch it when there's pollen coming in, but leave it on there in the spring, because you'll get to that point in time where they can't get out to pollen source for sometimes a few days, or more, just depending on how long it rains and or it snows or whatever, gets cold for that matter, and they'll still be able to access a pollen patty to keep the queen laying and keep the brood going. So just keep that in the back of your mind. I'm gonna do I'll release this video. I'm gonna do another video later today, hopefully, where I house those 2 4-frame nukes, so stay tuned for that. I'm actually even going to remove that combined hive, and you're going to see how I'm going to manipulate that by moving the weaker hive that I was trying to boost. I'm actually going to manipulate that a bit more to give them even more of a boost. I'm going to give them the foragers that are out and about. So I'm going to actually put that in the location of the strong hive, and that should finish that colony and give them the boost of bees that they need to progress. So the Saskatraz Queens I really wanted for drone laying for my queen rearing program, and nothing else. And unfortunately, if my queen rearing program doesn't get off the ground, because I gotta go down to Florida on May 21st for a couple of weeks, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I said, everything got kind of thrown into a tizzy for me when I lost more colonies than I wanted to lose this winter, and then I had to get packages, and now the packages are 2 weeks late, and you just have to adjust on the fly and just do what works. I might not start my queen rearing program until June now, which is not what I wanted to have happen, but we've all got to do what we got to do, make adjustments as we can, and the bees will dictate pretty much what it is. I'm not mad at the package guys for the delay. Weather is a huge factor, especially out west, in getting your bees getting their packages built and getting queens reared. So anyways, watch out for those videos, and and wish me luck on my new adventure. I am going to, it depends on my boss if he's going to allow me to, but I'd love to keep the videos rolling on the commercial aspect of my beekeeping, and kind of just show you what we're doing, and how things have changed for me, and just, I'll just try to keep passing on as I grow as a beekeeper and I learn, and passing on what any kind of new things that I can to you. So just stay tuned for that. Like I said, I think my boss would be okay with it, but we'll have to see. I can't just start filming his operation without his permission, and maybe I can get his son on for an interview too. We'll see. I have to get to know everybody first before I just start making YouTube videos for them. So anyways, until next time, happy beekeeping. Anyways, really quick, there are my Saskatraz Queens. Just taking a quick look to see. Looks like everybody's alive. Very, 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 there she is crawling on the cage right there. Very, very, very small. Hard to tell the difference between her and the bees, but both arrived here with no problems. I'm going to give them a drop of water on the screen. So I'll just dab a drop of water on the screen. Let them go up and get a drink if they need it or whatever. But I'm going to close them back up, get the light off of them, and then maybe if it gets warmer today, I'll put these in and we'll do a video. Talk to you later.